am back for another episode of Kiri in her solo sandbox. This would be episode number 7, sorta. Maybe I should call it 6A. If you watched last time, I did think about building a base somewhere else, and I actually have. We have decided to build on the second level in Stonegate, and the reason I have decided to do that is because there's only one way in, and I'm fairly close to resources, and there's more than one building that we can access from this area. So my first chore was to run around and put as many hearths as I possibly could, and with the fact that I haven't earned the next level hearth, I had to put a bunch of little ones. The way I tell if I've gotten it covered well is I go around with a torch and I look for dots and lines and making sure there's no gaps, and sometimes there's still gaps. In fact, I had some wolves spawn in already, so I added another one. I wasn't paying attention to see where they came from, so we're going to still do that. We'll make sure we're watching to see where creatures and goblins spawn in, but supposedly if I am covered with dots, nobody should be spawning into the area. So that's what I've been spending my time doing, is looking for dots. Big thrill for you guys, so I decided not to make you suffer through it. But the reason I said this is sort of episode 7, or maybe 6A, is because I'm going to dedicate it to just building and refurbishing, and then the next video will continue our adventure. So if you don't want to watch build, just wait till the next episode comes out. If you're fascinated by building or curious how it works, stick around. So I've got my trusty little hammer, and I'm just going around wherever it's green, and that tells me I need to repair. It'll tell me what the integrity is. I usually start at the bottom, work my way up. I don't know, makes sense to me. Because I figure if the foundation is in good shape, then that helps keep it from falling down around my head. So, might not have a lot of commentary today. I do tend to blather on though, so it might still happen. So, I am enjoying a Saturday on the Oregon coast. It's a beautiful day, sun is shining, a little bit of a breeze. It's supposed to start getting wet this last week, so I went out, took my 12-week-old kitten for a walk. We travel sometimes about half the year to various state parks, and we got a kitten a while back and are teaching her to go for walks with us. So the first thing we did was got her used to the harness, and so every time she went outside we put her in the harness, and then we started letting her get used to the leash, and she's done really well, surprisingly. She's not fussing with it. She lets us put the harness on her. Doesn't try to eat us as we're doing that, and was a lot more brave today as we walked around, willing to get out and about and do that brave new world thing. So that's what I did today, and she seems to be having fun. She loves to chase things, and let's see, did somebody spawn in here? That's what we need to do, is watch and see where they come from. It doesn't look like anybody came in, so we're good for now. Anyway, the other way you tell if you are all covered is if you try to access material in a box. So that reminded me that I want to put in a repair smithy, and I'm just going to put it right here for now. And you see it takes 5 iron ingots, so one of the hearths is, sorry about that, lawnmower go by. One of the hearths is close enough and coverage is good enough that I could pull the iron ingots that were in the chest. So that's good. And we did get a goblin, and you came from over there. So that tells me I don't have coverage somewhere over here, right over there in that corner. Alright. So let's try putting a small... Oop! You bastard. So let's check and see. I bet you... Maybe right there. I will put one here just because. Right now we'll be probably putting a lot more hearths than we need to, just to try to guarantee coverage. So we will just keep an eye out. Try to notice where they come from when they do come in. I've got a couple other bases that I finally figured it out. So we don't have sieges inside the bases, and we don't have random spawns inside the base. Anyway, Patches is getting quite used to wandering around with us. I did ask a while back my viewers if you wanted to watch a build video, and no one said please no, so that's why I'm doing it, but I will make sure to label it as a build video. I love building. That's one of the things I like about this game, is the building aspect of it. Freestanding building or remodeling, either one I enjoy. Your hammer will get wore out, so it's important to have the ability to repair it. So put that smithy down. And this is a 3-story, so at some point I will have to climb my way up. We had a 5-point earthquake the other day. That was pretty interesting. Not something we have often in Oregon. Alright, let's see here. Okay, get this stairwell done. We also travel with 2 little dogs and sometimes 3 cats, at the very least 2. We have an older cat that has diabetes, so she always comes with us so we can make sure she gets her shots. And I tell you what, she's not impressed by the kitten. She'll tolerate her as long as they're back to back or the kitten isn't chasing her tail. But sometimes we have our 3rd cat with us too, because she's our cuddle bucket, so we like to bring her, but she does not travel well. And she will usually barf and pee and everything else on the way. So sometimes we leave her home with our daughter just so she doesn't have to be put through that. She doesn't mind. She hangs out with my daughter quite a bit, so I don't think she feels abandoned, although I miss her. And then we have our two little dogs that go too. We got our grandson to go with us for a month last year. I took him to a couple Comic-Cons, and it was bribery, yes. That's how I got him to come with us, was I bribed him with the Comic-Cons, one in Sacramento, one in Portland. So we did quite a bit of driving, but I thought it was pretty fun. I got to watch a panel for the voice actors from God of War, and that was pretty cool. One of the actors, whose name escapes me at the moment, was on the show's Stargate, and played one of the aliens called Teal'c, and he does the voice of Kratos in the most, let's see, the 2018 version of God of War. And hopefully his name will come back to me at some point. Christopher Judge. I knew it would come sooner or later. Yeah, Christopher Judge was there, and the rest of the crew from God of War, and that was a lot of fun. But I have to say, as fun as that was, my favorite Comic-Con was when I got to see Mark Sheppard and Felicia Day from Supernatural. And of course, I was a total fangirl, and I got pictures and autographs, and it was pretty silly, but I love the show, and I actually think the characters of Crowley and Charlie were a good reason the show was a plus for me, because they're great actors and usually great storylines, great acting by both of them. I think Crowley as the King of Hell did not get enough credit, for sure, for how good, how pivotal his character was to the show. Alright, so like I said, this is just going to be building, so not the most exciting. Like I said, though, I enjoy it, and while I'm doing the remodeling, it does give me a chance to kind of monitor sieges and where people come in. So I think when I've done a couple of the Moria Let's Plays, I might do God of War. I really liked that game. It was the first game I played after Skyrim, which I played for many years on PlayStation. All of my experiences on PlayStation. Just started using a PC. So, as soon as I started using it, though, I had trouble with it, so I had to send it out. But it should be back on Monday, all ready to go. Had a friend make sure OBS was working and DaVinci for editing was working, and all set up well for good quality. So looking forward to moving on with those characters. I tried for a while to use the keyboard for playing, and oh my gosh, for you guys who use the keyboard and mouse, I have to hand it to you. Quite a bit of coordination involved, and for you it probably like, what do you mean it's not hard at all? Well, it is when you're not a typist, and it is when that's not how you've learned to play. I think I did my dissertation with like 4 fingers, so I'm not a typist at all. So that was a personal challenge to see if I could get used to it. And I admit I could not, and so I started using a Xbox controller once I figured out that you could do that. So this is going to be Kiri's new home, and we're going to get it all fixed up. And the reason I'm fixing it before I tear down material or debris is because if you don't secure the building and you start tearing stuff up, even stuff that's on the ground like debris, you're quite liable to bring the building on top of you, which I've done many, many times. So before I do the next episode, I will probably also move all of Kiri's materials over to here. And then we'll get back to adventuring. Even when they're 100%, they still look pretty degraded until you put some lights in, and it seems to brighten things up once you put lights in. All right, what are we doing here? We can't repair this yet, so I will probably take it down because we can't repair it till quite a bit later in the game, and by the time I could repair it, I'll have the materials to build my own. So that's probably what we will do. Wow, what's the green light? That's interesting. So, good. The stairs are in fairly good shape. Walls, on the other hand, aren't so great. Pretty amazing how kind of reach a little dwarf has too. But I will have to use platforms at some point. I do welcome comments, questions. Even though I've played the game a few times, there's updates frequently, which is wonderful. So I may not have all the correct information, and I don't want to mislead you. So if you see something I can improve on in any episode, please let me know in the comments. Alright, I did the floor here earlier when I was going to put in the hearth. It's going to be hard for me to see where the goblins are coming from while I'm in here, but we'll give it a shot anyway. Alright, this is looking pretty good. I'm going to refurbish the other buildings too, because I can use them for armories, craft rooms, kitchen area, you know, treasure room, whatever. Okay. Hey, tell me where you're from too, if you don't mind. Of course, I don't expect it, but one thing I've enjoyed talking with other content creators, and when I've done online streams with Strider of Valor, for instance, I learned people are from all over the globe. One of the guys I play with is from Canada. We've got another one from Tennessee. I think one was from North Dakota, I believe. It's always fun to hear different accents and hear about their lives. Met Conco and Warbear and a guy named References Needed who's in the military, and he was helping out with one of the hurricanes recently. It's spend a lot of time chatting with Misty Mountain Gaming, Biggie over at Misty Mountain Gaming. And even Sovereign RPG checked in with me the other day. I was quite pleased with that. He's got quite a few followers, and I thought how neat it was that he took the time to say hello. That's one thing I've noticed about the gaming community, at least in my experience. Everybody seems pretty nice. And helpful. If I've had a tech issue, I've always got somebody willing to help out. I'm also pretty impressed with the developers from Return to Moria. They very often are on the Discord, giving feedback, listening to the feedback, making updates when fans let them know something's not working well or they prefer something to be changed. Very responsive. I don't know if that's true for all developers, but it's been pretty impressive. We're making pretty good progress here. Could take a while to remodel and refurbish. And when you're starting out, you don't always have the replacement items. And I'm pretty new, so I will not have a lot of the replacement items, but this place is in pretty good shape. Got a wall over there, a chunk of the wall over there missing, but except for the occasional bat, we should be okay. In fact, I don't even know if bats will spawn in if you've got your hearth set up properly. Alright, I'm going to make sure I don't fall off into the world here. Pay attention to where I'm walking. Alright, I love balconies. When we get the furniture option, we'll do some decorating and we'll put a fireplace out here. Get some marshmallows going. Or roasted cranberries, more likely. Okay, come on now. Get in there. Amazing, all the little crevices. Like sometimes there's a column buried into the wall and you can just barely see it, so it can take a minute to get all the little edges and corners done, and it's not uncommon for me to walk through and see that I've missed something. And as you go through the game, you will get stronger hammers that actually build a lot faster and repair a lot faster, so it's nice too. So what kind of games do you guys like to play? Are you watching this because you like Moria? Or are you just bored? I don't do first-person shooters. I have done a few games like Nathan Drake and Tomb Raider that do require shooting. But I have to tell you, there's been more than one occasion I've had to ask my grandson for help with shooting. Especially shooting and driving or flying, or there's more than one action going on. I'm very uncoordinated. I was watching Strider of Valor play Helldivers. That's one of his games he likes, and I would never be able to play that. There's just too much going on the screen at any given time. Too many tasks that you have to do. So that's not a game you'll see me play on my channel. Unless, of course, Strider of Valor is willing to give me hours and hours of tutorial, which he probably would. He said he has done that for other people. I really enjoy everyone's different styles. Some folks are really animated in their play style and when they're talking to their YouTube fans. And other people are just mellow, like myself. I watched another lady, I think her handle is Pendle. She's very much the same style as me. Slow, methodical. Some might say boring, but that's just the way I play. Let's start working on getting up a little higher. Oops, don't fall down. I do get frustrated when I see an area that looks like that needs to be, looks like it needs to be repaired, and then you can't. That's a little frustrating. So when we do have the roof pieces, we will repair that corner, but we don't have them yet. Pretty nice. This is looking pretty good. Sometimes you can actually access the very, very top, climb around up there and fix things. Doesn't look like this is what I'm going to be able to do that with. Oops, almost fell down. So we're just going to continue to do this, get it all repaired. And once I get it as repaired as I can, then I'll start moving stuff over and hopefully be all set up by the time we go adventuring again. It's nice when you finally get granite, which I believe you don't get till you get down into the deeps. That's when you get these nice windows and smooth roof lines and alright, let's see, oops, right there. Let's see if I missed some over here. Yep, I did. Alright. Like I said, sometimes you miss stuff and you gotta go back and let's see. Probably won't repair the roof all the way up there. Alright. How's our lattice? Did I get it? Looks like I did. Now what's really sad is when you get all this repaired and then you break it by accident because you're messing around too much. Some of the furniture I might even just keep. Like this chair, I might just keep it. It looks all right there. but the rest of it I will probably go ahead and take out. Looks like maybe we've got this looking pretty good. I might go ahead and move her stuff over before I start repairing the other buildings, but I am going to repair the other, oops, there's an area as well. And like I said, then we can use them for other things. All right, let's go around the outside perimeter. Make sure, oops, see, there's a column up there I need to get. This building across the way is definitely going to be a challenge, and it's missing some roof. So we'll have to figure out if we can get up high enough for that. Hope you're not afraid of heights. Well, at least I'd die near a mapstone. I think my favorite builder is Iriak Furmax. If you've watched any of the challenges put on by the developers for building, he is definitely the one to watch. He's been mentioned a number of times recently with the gold challenge. He built a beautiful, beautiful base using all sorts of gold trims and panels, and I'm thinking he must have gone to an awful lot of worlds to get all that gold. Which is a lovely advantage of this game, by the way. Being able to go into different worlds and bring either your character, like from campaign to sandbox with a few advantages, like the bigger backpack, or maybe even armor, or your full decked out best gear, and play it on maybe a little harder level than you would normally. All right, I think we're safe to start breaking things. I do follow everything I break to make sure I haven't broke the wall or floor in the process. All right. Well, the kitten has finally slowed down for the day. I guess their walking mischief finally wore them out. They always look sweet when they're sleeping. Do you guys have pets? I love pets. My daughter has a bearded dragon, and we have cats and dogs. I've been known to have a fish tank or two. Okay, I was worried I was going to bust the floor trying to get that piece. Just about did. This reminds me of one of the buildings you run into later. One of the outposts, I think. This building, that is. And it looks like I'm going to need to repair here. So, much better, huh? Looking pretty good. Did I get that little area right up there? Looks like maybe I did not. Oops. And I did. It just looks like I didn't. All right. So let's go clear the downstairs area. Like I said, there is a grist mill down there, but I think I'm going to take it out. It's one of those areas I was telling you about, just a little piece of a column sticking through there. Got to make sure you don't miss it. And once I get the bigger hearths, and I don't need to have so many hearths everywhere, I will probably take that one out and do something different right there. All right. Better go down and repair our hammer. And we haven't had a siege yet, so it's hard to know if I've got everything covered well. Looks like I missed a spot. Can I get it from here? Missed that spot too. All right, let's go down and clear this area out. I'm also probably going to take out the shelves just so I have more room for other things, and if I decide I want to have a bar later, I can always put it back. I do tend to like an open floor pan. That's kind of pretty. Maybe I'll leave that there. It's about early evening, so we will probably head back. Not really ready to sleep here. It's like part of the floor I missed up there. Let's see what area that is. Interesting. All right, let's see if we can get that done. Wonder where that piece of floor is that I missed it. Okay, did I get it now? Oops. Huh, guess you can repair that too. I think since this will be the kitchen area, we will just leave it there. Alright, how's our stairs look? Let's get some lighting on the walls in here. We haven't had any wolves come and bother us, so that might also show that we've got things covered. Oh, I see a spot we missed. Right. Well, what do you think? It's looking pretty good. Alright, how's this spot look? Not missed it. The advantage of putting in some lights so you can see what the heck you're doing. Little edge sticking through there. I take pride in my work, so I gotta get it all. Alright, let's see how we are in here. Oops. I'm surprised she's not exhausted. Alright, let's put a light in here. To figure out what we're going to do with this little space. Come on. Not going to let me have it? There we go. That could be a good place for oven or stove. Now when I get granite, I might refurbish the floor too, but it's also possible by the time I get granite, I will want to build somewhere else entirely. How did we miss this spot? Let's make sure I've got that covered. Whoa! Well, that's one way to do it. Thought I saw a bit of green. Maybe not. So now I gotta decide where I want to put everything, huh? Probably put the floor upstairs. We'll probably... I might close this off. It just depends on how well I've got it secured, I suppose. Alright. Every time I think I've got it, I find another spot that I missed. And that's kind of how it goes. Look at you just floating in midair. That's what happens when you don't pay attention. Ooh, we got watchers in here, which means we are not completely covered. And it's interesting because I've got coverage out here too. Look at, we got a whole crowd out here. A whole crowd of watchers.
Bring the big guys. Help.
Interesting. Let's check where our gap is. Must be why they're staying back here. But they were coming in. Interesting. Should have coverage there. Because I've got a hearth right there, hearth there. But they were definitely coming in. I wonder if it's because that is still dirt. If you know, I'd appreciate the help. If you know that is why, it's because there's still dirt. Let's go back and we can start moving stuff over. Gotta decide where we want where we want to put stuff. I'm just gonna start randomly grabbing stuff as we go through and have to take stuff back. But let's go ahead and sleep because she's tired. I imagine we're getting close to that hour as well. Now, if we had evening ale, we would drink our evening ale first. All right. We probably need to decide where we're going to put our forge and our crafts in the new place. I bet you what I'm going to want to do is put the forge across the way. There was a nice building over there across the way that I think I will put the forge in. So let's go look at that, see what we think. All right. So we've got 2 other buildings that we could refurbish into forges or whatever. This one's pretty beat up. But maybe it'd be a good area for a forge. I could even put in a second story and put an armory. And then we have this building over here, which is more like a house. So it might be good for crafting. I really wish it had had an elven ale in here. But we'd have this whole area for crafts or a forge, armory. Really narrow in here, isn't it? What do you think, guys? What do you think? I'm thinking forge over here. What do you guys think? I'm thinking it's pretty open. I could put a couple of furnaces down here and a forge down here. I could put crafts and armory in the other building and kitchen and ale in the main house. That's what I'm thinking. So, you know what that means. We got to start fixing this one. So I think I'm going to call it a video. We won't do the whole hour. You get the sense, if you were interested in how to build, you get a sense of how to repair at least, and how to try to prevent sieges and spawns in your base. So this is Gamey Grandma. This is Kira and Kiri, and she's going to rebuild her world, her little piece of the world here. And we'll try to have that done and moved over before we do our next adventure. So, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you'd like. Give us a comment. I'd sure appreciate it.